Hi, this is James Melendez, James, the wine guy, here to share and celebrate the story of this wine house. This is Gruet from New Mexico. Now, it's a great story to tell. I've done a review on this particular wine, this non-vintage brut. And for me, it's a great way of talking about some really great things, which is when you think about it, first of all, New Mexico has a great history of growing wine grapes, the oldest in the country, actually, in all the 50 U.S. states. Now, it's had some absolute declines based on prohibition and a flood about over 100 years ago, actually. And that actually was one of the things that created a, say, for the longest period of time after prohibition, where there was some activity, really doesn't increase until the late 70s and early 80s, when you have people, both Americans and Europeans, who are rediscovering this area and saying, why not? And so you have activity in the Members Valley, which is south towards Las Cruces Deming area. Deming is on I-10 and I-25, and then you go further up on I-25, which is the main interstate north-south. On that, you're going to have a lot of the activity. You do have some east of there, of course, but the mainstay of wine grape growing is centered on the Rio Grande Valley. Now, for me, this is a great story because it is emblematic of sparkling wine in many ways, and champagne. The reason I bring that out is the Gruet family is from the Champagne region in France. And Gilbert Gruet, the founder, was traveling with his family in 1983 and meeting with his fellow European winemakers and somehow became convinced that this was a great area to grow wine grapes, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. For me, when I think of that, that's an amazing testament to a great leap of faith. And yet that is what Champagne is. Champagne is that place where we should not be growing wine grapes here. They should not have been growing for the longest period of time. And yet they have been for a solid millennia to make something that was not a great wine to something that is just an emblematic wine of the world, that it has its own name, Champagne. It's thought of as, some people think it's just a particular varietal versus basically an assembly of three, at least in the Champagne region. In the U.S., it tends to be just Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. But for me, I think it's a really great thing to say, I'm going to just come to New Mexico, where wine grape growing is in a Renaissance period. I'm going to plant Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, which is really not something you would have done necessarily. You would have maybe done a Bordeaux varietal. And then you have another leap of faith, which is, I'm going to do sparkling wine. Well, first of all, sparkling wine, wherever it's created, is really hard to do. It's a lot of work. And so then you have that. And then thirdly, you have to create the environment to sell the wine. That is a market for it, where in, say, that period of time, Americans are drinking very little wine, although it's a bit on the uptake. Today, we're about 10 liters per person. Back then, it was probably 4 to 5 liters. And then you're trying to sell this in a very complicated wine marketing, or actually not even wine marketing, wine regulated world of the United States. So all these things come together, and it shouldn't have happened, but it does. And I think it's just showing the will of one person and his family. So now Natalie and Laurent Gruet, Gilbert's son and daughter, are the principal people of the Gruet Winehouse in Albuquerque, and have subsequently created a good number of wines. So they have 8 different sparkling wines, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and they do some still wines as well. So they do a Syrah and a Pinot Noir and a Chardonnay. So when you think about that, it's just an amazing testament to continue to do this. So I enjoyed their rosé wine, and it's an absolutely beautiful mid-strawberry color. The palette is absolutely beautiful. Blanc de Blanc is stellar, and I think of the price points, these are completely reasonable. Some place to visit is, and first of all, when you think of the elevation, it's about 4,300 feet above sea level. That's pretty amazing, because you don't have very many sparkling wine regions in the world that have that elevation. But that's a good thing, because that's what keeps the Pinot Noir happy, which are extremely difficult to grow, and the Chardonnay just producing some really beautiful signatures. Now, what I love about their sparkling wines is dryness. You get a beautiful quality that harkens back to Champagne, harkens back to Mendocino County, which in California has been producing some stellar wines as well. And it's a dryness signature that comes through. That's what it should be. It's almost that quality that this isn't quite Pinot Noir, it's not quite Chardonnay. Even if it were 100% Chardonnay, it's something in between that. It's something else. It's a different wine. and I think it's a great story. I visited Gruet Winery about 2 times, and every single time I'm asking case production. First time I visited was 50,000 cases. Second time, which is just recently, 125,000 cases. So just keep in mind that's been a period of say 5 to 6 years between visits. I think that's an amazing testament to, first of all, the market sold in all 50 states that I'm aware of, and a recognition by the consumer base to say, this is really good wine. And I give a salud, sante, cheers, because I think it's just an amazing testament to one story, one family, and a wine that really has some great recognition in both the marketplace and also people's palate and desire for good wine. For more wine reviews, please go to jamesthewineguy.com. Please subscribe to my videos on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Vimeo, Google+, Pinterest. Salud.